What's the Timmers here? With the Super Bowl on its way this week, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite football movies. Now, I mentioned this before. I'm not much of a sports guy. I don't really watch sports. I don't watch football, basketball, none of that. Except for the Super Bowl because, well, commercials, halftime show, movie trailers and stuff. Super Bowl gets pretty fun at times. Well, I do, of course, appreciate a good football film. So, here is my official top 10 favorite football movies. And there's some really good ones. I mean, this was a little bit of a hard list. Like, I could have probably made a top 20 instead, but I'm just sticking with 10. Number 10 is Varsity Blues. Now, of course, you might know Varsity Blues with the iconic Ali Larter scene, whipped cream scene. Yeah. But that aside, Varsity Blues is still a really good one. It stars James Vanderbeek, who at the time was pretty popular thanks to Dawson's Creek. You had John Voight, who now is more popular for supporting someone else here. The late great Paul Walker, Amy Smart, and it's of course where like a Texas high school football team battles this abusive win at cost coach here, and leading players who reclaim the control of their lives, futures, and stuff. It's a really decent football film. A really decent like coming of age story as well. This was one of like Ali Larter's first films. Nowadays she's more known for like appearing in Final Destination, Resident Evil. She's on Landman, which she's great on that. She's really terrific in this one. Amy Smart's great. Like this was, of course, this got released like late 1990s in 1999, and it's a decent one worth giving a go. Number 9 is The Blind Side. Now, the actor Quinn Aaron, who plays Michael Orr, if you guys don't know, he actually, you know, he was actually hospitalized due to a fall. Glad to see he's okay. Now, The Blind Side, of course, got a lot of controversy now because a lot of stuff that had happened, this, was fake and stuff like that and whatever. And this is actually the movie that won Sandra Bullock her first Oscar. And this is a true story of Michael Orr, who's a homeless teen who becomes an NFL player after being taken by this wealthy family who believed in him. And you had the likes of Tim McGraw, a very young Lily Collins. Kathy Bates was also in this. It's a really terrific film. Well deserving Oscar win for Sandra Bullock. Great performances all around. It is a really decent one. Quinn Aaron was terrific. A really decent true story film. I think it's well worth watching there. All right. Number 8 is Friday Night Lights. Now, of course, we just had, obviously, this movie is more known for the TV show with Kyle Chandler. But there was the movie version, starring, speaking of Landman, by the way, starring Billy Bob Thornton, the aforementioned Tim McGraw, Lucas Black, Garrett Hedlund, Connie Britton, who, funny enough, would go on to appear in the TV version. And this is, of course, like a realistic, emotionally grounded look at Texas high school football team, where the pleasure to win defines the town's identity here. And Billy Bob Thornton, plays like the coach here, Gary Gaines here, and he's really great. Really decent speech he makes in this. Great performances by like Lucas Black, Derek Luke was great in this. It is a really decent film, and the TV show is just as good as well. But the movie version was also really decent. It was directed by Peter Berg, who would go on to direct Battleship, Patriots Day, many others. I think this was actually his first feature. I think I gotta double check that. Number 7 is The Waterboy. Now, of course, this does star Adam Sandler, the aforementioned Kathy Bates, and you got Adam Sandler who plays this socially awkward waterboy who discovers that he has a devastating tackling ability and becomes a college football star. And of course, you got Adam Sandler who plays his iconic character, Bobby Boucher. I just adore him in this. Like it's not my favorite Adam Sandler film. Like I did do my top 10 favorite Adam Sandler films, and The Waterboy was not really on that list or anything like that. But I still quite enjoy it. It's definitely is lots of fun. It is a comic classic there. Sandler just as hilarious as always. Playing a character he probably won't be able to play today. Of course, you do got like Fairuza Balk as 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 another VV character from his films. It's just such a really good one. Kathy Bates playing the Mama Boucher. I mean, if you guys never seen The Waterboy, do yourself a favor, give it a go. It's a good one. Speaking of Sandler, by the way, now number 6. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and add not one but two films in this one because I couldn't really know which one to really put. I'm going with the original and remake of The Longest Yard. Of course, the original starred the late great Burt Reynolds, who, by the way, was actually a quarterback in real life. Here, he plays like this ex NFL quarterback who organizes a team of inmates who play against prison guards here. And of course, the remake starred Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, the aforementioned Burt Reynolds. I mean, you even had Courtney Cox was in that one, Nelly, uh, Stone Cold Steve Austin even appeared in that one, Tracy Morgan. I mean, some really fun who's of actors in there. I mean, I think I prefer the remake a tad bit more than the original, but I still quite enjoy the both movies in general. Burt Reynolds was great in the original. Bernadette Peters, Richard Kiel, of course, from Happy Gilmore fame, Eddie Albert. It's such a really classic football story. Really was a good performance by Burt Reynolds. And then, of course, we come into the remake with Adam Sandler and Chris Rock. That movie is just as funny as it is. I grew up a little bit more with the Adam Sandler Chris Rock one a little more. That movie came out during my teen years and stuff. I just always got a kick out of that one. So yeah, I mean both movies are really decent. All right, number 5 is Any Given Sunday. Now, Any Given Sunday, of course, stars the likes of one of Al Pacino's most iconic lines to date. Like his monologue in this, one of my favorites. Like if I were to do my top 10 favorite movie speeches, Al Pacino's speech in this, it will definitely be on that list. Of course, you had like Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz, Dennis Quaid, LL Cool J. The list goes on and on. Of course, this is the brutal, unflattering look at professional football, following the struggles from like dealing with egos, injuries, and stuff. I mean, Any Given Sunday, I really thought was a 19. Funny that this and Varsity Blues came out in the same year, so there's that. It definitely is a really decent one. A really decent look of professional football players and stuff. Al Pacino does such a good job here. Jamie Foxx is great. Cameron Diaz. I mean, it's such a really good one. If you guys never seen Any Given Sunday, give that one a go. All right, number 4 is Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire, of course, stars Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr. with his iconic "Show me the money" iconic line, which of course won him an Oscar. Renee Zellweger, Kelly Preston, Jonathan Lipnicki. Here of course is a sports agent who experiences moral awakenings and rebuilding his career, which is one client here. And it's also it's pretty much lots of stuff a lot of people will like. It has a football stuff. It has romance in it. It is a really decent, heartfelt story here. Of course, Tom Cruise is great, which he actually got an Oscar nomination for this, was well deserved there. Cuba Gooding Jr., who of course won his Oscar for this, was great. Regina King, Jay Moore, some really good cast members here. The one that really put Jonathan Lipnicki on the map here. I mean, Jerry Maguire is a football classic right there. Speaking of Cuba Gooding Jr., by the way, now this one does not really, out of all the movies here, this is the only one here that really does not get the best love, really. I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr. actually got a Razzie nomination for this. And he had like 3 films that year. He had that boat trip, that movie he did with Beyonce, Fine Temptation. And he also had this one. He got Razzie nominations for all 3 of those. But I would say out of all those 3, this is his better one. Number 3 is Radio. I don't know why people hate Radio so much. I remember seeing this one, when I was in school, during my school days. Radio is awesome. Of course, you got Cuba Gooding Jr., who of course plays James Rhodey Kenny. You have Ed Harris, who plays his high school football coach, named Coach Harold Jones. Who, by the way, I used to have a teacher back in the days who was also named Coach Jones. So pretty cool there. Who of course becomes like a beloved fixture around the team here. Of course, he befriends this mentally challenged man played by Cuba Gooding Jr., transforming both players and the community here. Of course, you got like Alfred Woodard, Deborah Winger, Ed Harris. It is a really decent, heartfelt story. Of course, at the end, I really quite like how they, show the real life radio whose tragically passed away a couple years ago. And I mean, I think this is a character that Cuba Gooding Jr. wouldn't be able to play today. But you know what? Cuba does such a good job here. It really embodies the radio character perfectly. Uh, Ed Harris is great. The football sequences are terrific. I mean, it is such a shame that hardly no one really enjoyed this at the time, but I know it was a really good one. All right, number 2 is Remember the Titans. Now, Remember the Titans takes place in 1971's Virginia, where this high school football team must overcome racial tensions and personal prejudice to come together as champions here. And of course, it is led by Denzel Washington, Will Patton, uh, the new Kratos himself, Ryan Hurst, Donna Faison. It is definitely one of the top tier football movies. I really, I was really debating to either at this at number one or my other number one, but I think Remember the Titans is definitely my second favorite here. Denzel just does such a good job throughout. It's such a really good one. Really inspirational at times. It is a Disney classic. Like it's a shame that Disney doesn't really do much sport movies nowadays. But Remember the Titans is a really good one. And my number one favorite, Rudy. Rudy. You guys know it. It is Rudy. The one, like, of course, this was actually one of Jon Favreau's earliest roles here. I think this was actually Vince Vaughn's, first feature he also appeared in. But this is led by Sean Astin, who, of course, at the time was best known for Goonies fame. He would go on to appear in Stranger Things and all. Of course, you had like Ned Beatty was also in this, Lily Taylor, Charles Dutton. Rudy is actually based on a true story of Rudy Rootgeier, who dreams of playing football in Notre Dame despite undersized, underskilled, and doubled for everyone here. It is a really decent, heartfelt story throughout. Really inspirational. One of the most iconic chants of Rudy, Rudy. I don't know why. I always just love that chant every time. It's just such a good one. I mean, I feel like this actually. I know Sean Astin's beforehand was best known for the Goonies and stuff. I feel like this is the one that really put him on the map for most people. And I mean, this will actually be shown at my school tons of times. Like, if you guys are at school either past or present, it'll be like, and they ever show you like a movie here and there. You'll be surprised if I'll be surprised if they don't even show Rudy to you guys because Rudy, Rudy and Remember the Titans was always like, and even radio was always the go-to, sports film that almost every school I went to would show. And yeah, Rudy is just an excellent one. Again, Sean Astin, probably his best performance. Really, it's just such a really good one. But that's pretty much it there. Here's my quick rundown. Number 10, Varsity Blues. 9, The Blind Side. 8, Friday Night Lights. 7, The Waterboy. 6, The Longest Yard, both the remake and original. 5, Any Given Sunday. 4, Jerry Maguire. 3, Radio. 2, Remember the Titans. And number 1 is Rudy. Now there's a couple of other ones I could have included. Let me see what else we got here. The Replacements, We Are Marshals, The Express with the late Chadwick Boseman. That was actually one of his earliest films, really. Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Costner with Draft Day, Little Giants, Wildcats, 23 Blast, The Long Shots with Ice Cube, Facing the Giants. Most recent, the Senior, with Michael Chiklis. That was a pretty good one. Leatherheads was okay. Heaven Can Wait, Shoot for the Money. Speaking of Tom Cruise, All the Right Moves is another good one. Probably one of his underappreciated films. I feel like that's one Tom Cruise movie that barely gets talked about nowadays. I mean, there's loads of other ones I could have included, but A Game Plan with Dwayne Johnson, that's another really good one. But let me let you guys, what are some of your favorite football movies? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Timmy Tyler.